Okay, I continue the study of the types of English verb. Now look at your page 2. On the top, there is auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb. Auxiliary, what does it mean, auxiliary? In English, the meaning of auxiliary. Auxiliary means helping. And I always give this example to my students when I teach them the tenses in S1. I refer them to القوات المساعدة in Arabic, les forces auxiliaires in French, auxiliary forces. What does it mean? Auxiliary forces are القوات المساعدة. Mean it's a security in a country or who are charged of helping the police. So they are helpers. They are helping another institution. This is the meaning of auxiliary. In English grammar, it's the same thing. An auxiliary verb is a helping verb. It helps the primary verb. For example, when I say, I am doing, the verb here, the main verb is do. But there is another verb, am. What is it? It's an auxiliary. It helps me to express the verb do in the progressive form. I have done. Have is an auxiliary verb. It helps the verb do to express the present perfect, etc. So auxiliary verbs are helping verbs. They help the main verb. The rule: to be, the verb to be can be used as a helping verb, and it can be used as a main verb, and it can be used as a linking verb, and it can be also used in sentences where we express the passive voice. For example, the verb to be as a linking verb. I refer you back to the lesson on the noun when I taught you the function of the noun. For example, when I told you I am a professor, I am a student. A student, we said it's a subject complement. Why? Because am is a linking verb. It links the subject with the noun here, professor or student. I'm a child, for example. It's a linking verb here. Here, the verb to be is not an auxiliary verb, it's a linking verb. In the example on page 2, you have Gorman is a policeman. Is here is a linking verb. It's not an auxiliary verb, it's a linking verb. Policeman, what is the function of policeman? Policeman here is a subject complement. We studied this when we were in class last time. Number 2, the verb to be can be used as a main verb, showing, for example, that we exist, the state of being. For example, I say, the earth is round, the earth is nice. Here is it's the main verb. Yeah, it's the main verb. But between parentheses, and this is for the students who are really bright, I'm adding this information. Around here is adjective, right? Its type is adjective. This is just for bright students. Around here is adjective. What is its function? Its function is a subject complement. It's like the same function as Gorman is a policeman. The only difference is a policeman, its type is a noun. Around here, its type is adjective. The type is different, but the function is the same. Right? So here, if you want, you can say that even when it is a linking, when it is the main verb, what comes after is a subject complement. It's going to be the same as in number 1. Number 3, the verb to be as an auxiliary verb, which is the main focus of this part, helping verb. Here, when we refer to the verb to be as a helping verb, it helps me to express a tense. For example, he has been working in the shop. The man is working in a furniture shop. In the example in the man is working, here the verb to be is helping me to express what? To express the continuous form of the verb work. And in the second, he has been working, here the verb to be is helping me. It's an auxiliary. It helps me to express the present perfect progressive. So this is the main focus of this part. The verb to be when it is an auxiliary. The verb to be also, it's not always an auxiliary verb. So we said that it can be a linking verb, it can be a main verb, it can be an auxiliary. We can use also the auxiliary verb in the passive voice. For example, the coffin is made by the workers. The coffin is made by the workers. If we want to transform this sentence to the active voice, we can say the workers make the coffin. The workers make the coffin. If I want to have it in the passive, the coffin is made. I need the verb to be to express the passive voice. All the time for the passive voice, you need the verb to be. So it's essential to express the passive voice. So this is done for the verb to be. Now we move on to the verb have. Okay, have it. What does it mean, have it? It means possession. I have a pen. We have a house in the example on page 2. I possess something. Have can also function as a helping verb for perfect tenses. For example, the man had come to our house, or the man has come to our house, or the man has done the work. So this is another function of the verb have when it is an auxiliary. Do also, we are going to see that it can also work, it can also function as an auxiliary, but not all the time, of course. To do is used, number 1, as a main verb. For example, I do my work. Here, do is the main. Raisi, the workers do their work in the factory. Here, it's the main verb. Number 2, do they work in the factory? Do here, is it the main verb? No. It is used only as helping me to express a question. Without do, in English, we cannot express questions. We cannot have an interrogative statement. All right? You cannot say, they work in the factory? No, it's wrong. It's not English. We need do. Do they work in the factory? And if it is the past, did. Did they work in the factory last year? So it helps me to express interrogation, means questions. It helps me also to express negation, the negative form. Without do and did in the past, I cannot have a negative form in English. like in French, for example, in French we say je travaille, je ne travaille pas. They have ne and pas. In Arabic, أعمل in affirmative, but the negative, لا أعمل. We need لا. So in English, they need do. They need this helping verb to express negation. Also, another function for the verb do, it can be used as a helping auxiliary verb to express emphasis. For example, they do work in the factory. For example, you come to me with your work, and I tell you, you didn't do the work. You tell me, oh no, professor, please, I did the work. Here it is. Oh, then I tell you, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, I didn't mean it, or I didn't pay attention, etc. So when you want to emphasize an action that you do in the present, or you did in the past, you use the helping verb do in the present, like they do the work in the fact. And even in intonation, I think you have studied this in spoken English. When you say do, you are going to stress it. You are going to show that you are putting emphasis. They do the work in the factory. It's not like they do the work in the factory. No, they do work. So it's there is emphasis, there is stress. Okay, this is about the auxiliary verb. Now I move on to the modal verb. Modal verb is also sometimes called auxiliary verb because in itself it's not an action. It only helps to express feeling, modality, thought, or something like that. So, for example, I can use a modal verb to express ability, possibility, permission, obligation, etc. So, auxiliary verbs like can, present, could in the past, may, might, must, ought to, shall, should, will, and would are called modal verbs. Lee can eat a lot of pies. The modal here is can. Notice that after modals, you don't have to put the infinitive to. You cannot say Lean can to eat. And also can does not change. It's not conjugated. So you have can for all the persons. You have it in the first pronoun, the third pronoun, plural, etc. We cannot say we can as or whatever, or he can, etc. So it doesn't change. It's not conjugated because it's not an action verb. Where is the action? Lynn can eat a lot of pies. It's eat. So eat is my main verb. Can is only an auxiliary verb. What type of auxiliary verb is it? It's a modal verb. All right, and now I move on to the other category of phrasal verbs. A phrasal verb. Phrasal verbs are very difficult in English, and you can master them only when you read a lot of English, you listen to a lot of English, etc. And of course, you have to use your dictionaries to explain these phrasal verbs because they change the meaning just because of the change of prepositions. So what is a phrasal verb? A phrasal verb is a verb that is made up of more than one word, usually two words, sometimes three. Phrasal verb has a main verb and another word, preposition or particle. For example, a burglar will often break a window, to break in. Notice here I have the use of break twice. Is the meaning the same? No. A burglar will often break. Break يكسر. Break يكسر. But in the second, is it يكسر? No. يسرق. Break in. يسرق. يدخل بطريقة غير شرعية. يدخل بطريقة غير شرعية to steal. So break in is different from break just because we have this preposition in. Okay. Notice please that phrasal verbs are very difficult. There is no rule that I can give you to explain them. The only advice for you that I give you is that when you see a verb with a preposition, check it up in your dictionary. Check it up. And after checking the words many times, you memorize it. So you will develop in your mind your own vocabulary, and you will deal with this problem. Phrasal verbs are really difficult because there are no rules about them. Now I move on to causative verb. What is a causative verb? Causative verb, you notice there is causative verb. Causative. So it's a verb that what? That expresses a cause? Okay, yeah, it could be. Because causative comes from the word cause. A causative verb is a verb that enables, causes, here is the word cause, causes or allows a person to do something to another person. Causative verbs express the idea of someone causing something to take place. Causative verbs can be similar in meaning to sometimes the meaning is like passive verbs, but it's not the passive verb. No. Here is the example. My hair was cut. Okay? My hair was cut. It's a correct English sentence. It's in the past because was here is in the past. The helping verb to be is in the past. So my hair was cut yesterday. Okay, who cut my hair? The hairdresser. Somebody. So it's not myself who cut my own hair, but it was cut by somebody else. All right? The second example. I had my hair cut. What does it mean? It's in the past. I have had in the past. I had my hair cut. It means, like before, somebody cut my hair. Somebody helped my hair to be cut, not myself. So the meaning is almost the same with the passive, but the form is different. In the causative, I don't have the verb to be. In the passive, I have the verb to be. My hair was cut. Was is the helping verb. I had my hair cut. There is no verb to be. There is the verb have instead. The meaning, yes, the meaning is almost the same. Okay. Another example. The car was washed. I got the car washed. The car was washed. Was here is an auxiliary verb. And washed here is the past participle. The car was washed here is a passive voice. Can you transform it to the active voice? Okay, I'll give you a minute to think. You done it? Okay. The answer is somebody washed the car. Somebody washed the car. So it's not myself. Somebody did it for me. The car was washed. So it's the passive voice. I got the car washed. Is it the passive? No, because there is no verb to be. There is no auxiliary be. I got the car. There is no trace. No trace of the verb to be. So it's not the passive voice, but it's the causative form of the verb get. And here get is in the past. I got the car washed. Notice here we are talking in the past. I got the car washed. And washed here is the past participle, like above, like in the passive voice. All right? So here, this is the causative verb. So I have before have, that is a causative verb, and get here is as used as a causative verb. These two sentences have a slight difference in meaning. In the first, it's possible that the speaker washed the car. Yeah, the car was washed. I agree. When I tell you the car was washed, it could be either, and I agree, yeah, I totally agree with this explanation. The car was washed, it could mean that it was washed by somebody. Okay. By my son, for example, or by anybody. Or it simply means that it is washed. Okay? In the second, it is clear that the speaker paid someone to wash the car. But in the second, no. I got the car means جعلت أحدا يغسل السيارة. Like this. It means only this. So it means when the person washed the car for me, I paid him. Okay, I repeat. These two sentences, the car was washed and I got the car washed. These two sentences have a slight difference in meaning. In number one, the car was washed. It's possible that the speaker washed the car. Myself washed the car. When I tell you the car was washed, it's finished. It could mean that I washed it or somebody washed it for me. But in the second I got the car washed, it means only one thing, that somebody washed it for me and I paid him. So the causative here is a little bit different, not like before. My hair was cut. Before, my hair was cut. When I tell you my hair was cut, means only something that somebody cut it for me, because usually it's difficult. It's almost impossible to cut your own hair. So here in the example, my hair was cut and I had my hair cut. The meaning is similar, but here there might be a difference in meaning. So generally speaking, the passive voice is used to place emphasis on the action taken. Causative place the stress not on the action, but on the fact that someone causes something to happen. I go back to explain this. When I say my hair was cut, my focus is on the action, on cutting the hair. But when I say I had my hair cut, my emphasis, I stress what I focus I focus that somebody did the action for me. Somebody helped me to do something. Same thing in the example, the car was washed. The car was washed. The emphasis is placed on the action of washing. But I got the car washed. The emphasis when I tell you I got the car washed, the emphasis here is on the person who helped me to wash the car, and as the result of that, I paid him, or I said to him thank you, etc. Okay, this is the end of page 2, and good luck with that. I'll continue page 3 next time, inshallah.